This week on Hooligan Nation, is the Starchild a star without the rest of the band? More importantly, is Bruce Kulick a better guitar player than Ace Frehley? This guy thinks so, and I think he's incredibly wrong. Stay tuned for everything we could come up with on Paul Stanley's 1978 solo album. It's like solid gold before solid gold. Because you got
nothing to lose.
Do it! This street hustler come up to me one day as I was walking down the street minding my own business.
He looks me up and he looks me down and says, "Hey, man, what be this and what be that?"
In case anybody's wondering, yes, that's our Mike Tyson voice.
It's supposed to be Paul, but it ain't coming out that way.
It ain't.
You wanted the best. Well, they retired. So you got two dudes in a garage.
Talking KISS. Welcome back to Hooligan Nation, a KISS-Centric podcast. I'm Anthony.
And I'm Rocco.
Yeah. Hi.
Hello. What the fuck?
Boy, I can't wait for this one this week. It's better every time we do this. And when it comes to solo albums, we're climbing the set of stairs. We're on step number 3. Thank God we already stepped on Peter and we stepped on Gene. And that's what their records deserve, being stepped on. Speaking of stepping, Gene's solo album, you got anything to add?
No, we wished upon a star, and the wish was to get done with that album.
As soon as we were done taping that episode, I found myself a Holiday Inn. I don't know how you put somebody in the Songwriters Hall of Fame, but I think I'm going to send the Songwriters Hall of Fame an email and tell them that I'm living in sin at the Holiday Inn is worthy of a spot in the Songwriters Hall of Fame. I mean, he's got some classics there.
Well, I'm just happy you weren't like getting your boombox and jamming out to wish upon a star.
Oh, yeah. Boombox jamming. When you wish upon a star. Wait, see, now if he would have changed that to when you wish upon a star child, it could have been a love song to Paul.
To Paul, yeah, that's a good point.
Maybe that's where he was going with that.
Food for thought.
Yeah, that's like vegan food for thought. It's missing the meat.
Yeah, I'm not going there. Sorry, brother, I'm not going there.
You sure? All right. And you know what? Yeah. Instead of going there, why don't we talk about your sex tape again?
There is no sex tape. How many times I got to keep telling you?
I have video proof of you saying you no longer want to talk about the sex tape. It already happened.
It sounds like somebody was really, really busy in the editing war room.
Story of my life. Yes. That's if we ever get to the point where we have to put our names up here, you have to get first billing because you are absolutely the star. I'm like the co-star.
What were you saying before? I get to do the performing right here and then just take a nap.
Yeah. And just walk away. And
hey, I give you your props. I give you your
magically in about 10 days, it gets edited, it gets put out, it gets fixed, it gets everything. It's just a magical thing.
I call you up. Hey, cuz, how's it going?
Yeah, how's it going? And
I'm in the laboratory. I'll call you back.
Yeah. You don't really want to know how it's going. You just feel like you need to ask that.
It's what you say.
Yeah, but a lot of what I say, YouTube would probably kick us off of here if I said it on here,
Yeah, I agree.
especially when there's audio issues
Mm.
or like episode with a timer or like the last episode with a timer that I have to hide.
Hey, at least it's always something new.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's someone in your position would make a statement like that. Someone in my position, it keeps me up at night. When you wish upon, see, it's still catchy.
You're starting to warm up to it now.
Oh yeah, I'm all kinds of warm. All kinds of warm. I'm warm like a wet fart over that song. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
A shark. One of those sneaky sharks where you think it's gonna be one thing and then pow, it's something different.
Do it.
Straight Hustler comes up to me one day. We're gonna lose subscribers.
Yeah, if you're not taking the hint, this is Paul's episode.
I'm a big, bright, shining star. Child. All right. So I guess that's all we're gonna do for that.
Yeah, we're loosened up now. We're ready to go.
Yeah, loosened up. Yep, like a prostitute.
We just
got
did
any news?
We just did Gene's episode.
Yeah, take a prostitute. If you take a prostitute to the Holiday Inn, they say thank you. It's an upgrade usually.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything above a prostitute, and you're in trouble if you're over 18 years old.
Wow. This is going it's going into dark territory here.
Yeah.
So you want some news?
Yeah, please.
All right. So the news that I have is not new news, but I've been, with the algorithm and YouTube and doing research, I've been getting a lot of stuff on YouTube with the books that have been written. And being that we're doing Paul, that's again, I always find stuff I'd never heard before, and he goes really hard on Peter. Like there is nothing left off the table. Like I made the analogy to you about a baseball reference of Jose Canseco. What happens in the locker room stays in the locker room. There ain't a damn thing that stayed in the locker room when it came to Paul talking about the other guys. And it's stuff that I didn't know. And I didn't realize that I guess Peter tried to quit the band like 14 times. So the news I got is that if you haven't read the book, they're all on audio tape and they got little blurbs on YouTube. And it's pretty dysfunctional when you hear it, when you listen to how much drama that was going on behind the scenes and then eventually on forefront. So that's what I got.
There's a dysfunctional band with drama. Tell me more. A dysfunctional band with drama. Hey, look at it this way.
Well, put it this way, more than I knew, a lot more than I ever even knew.
At least like bands like Aerosmith could blame heroin. I'm not sure that KISS, I mean, I know the drugs and the alcohol. I just don't know that drugs and alcohol fueled the dysfunction or drama. I think the egos fueled the dysfunction and drama. And although Peter is my favorite, and he is clearly my favorite character, I don't know if he's my favorite human being. He got a little Napoleon in him, that sound.
I also think a little bipolar.
I don't know, man. It's the more we dig into this, the more I think it's a shame. Peter reminds me of a guy I used to work with that never hurt anybody else. But man, he was good at hurting himself. He used to do the stupidest things to get himself in trouble. And Peter just seems like he's that guy. Like this is the perfect thing. I'll show you, I'll kill me.
Yeah, I could see that. Definitely a lot of self-sabotage.
Right. It's amazing. And I don't know how much. I mean, I'm sure they'll blame it all. I'm sure they always have blamed it all on drugs and alcohol, but I don't know. I don't know how much that's the blame. I think somebody like Peter. I said this, I don't know, a couple episodes ago about Robert Sweet from Striper having to put his drums sideways. Like, look at me. Look at me. Like, that's some shit that drummers do. Not all of them, but some of them. And Peter strikes me as being like that kind of personality. Why don't they look at me?
Well, I think it's good.
Why don't everybody love me? Why isn't my solo album the best? I mean, I could explain it to him. He won't like to hear it, but I could explain to him why his solo album isn't the best. But you know what I mean? Like,
well, I think it's tough when you have, what's a really, really bad combination? A person who self-sabotages and blames everybody else at the same time. That's not a good combination at all.
Yeah. I think there was a couple interviews, like 95, 96. I think there was a couple interviews where Peter actually took responsibility. But other than a couple interviews around the time that the reunion tour was starting and they were promoting it, other than that, it's everybody else's fault.
Well, and the flip side of that too is like, Paul's got his issues too, but like if you look at, and again, we're getting into the drama. This is the review of the album, but still, if you look at the drama, it's another thing that's not a good combination. Paul had a vision for what he wanted, and if you're not following that vision, and you're a guy like Peter, it's amazing how they got along as long as they did.
True. It's funny. Last episode, my harping was on Gene being unsupervised, and then once that episode was over, I thought to myself, "Shit, Peter was supervised, and look what happened." And the funniest part, and this is in the future, but the guy who was supervising Peter, KISS hired. Not sure that was a great idea, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Yeah, I just got a little quick thing. This will be old news by the time this episode airs, but there's been rumors running around. I wouldn't have normally brought this up in news, but the last little bit that I've heard makes it really newsworthy to me. Rumors have been running around that AC/DC will be announcing a North American tour for 2025. Now, they might have already announced it by the time this episode airs. But what I had heard the other day, and I think this quote came from Sebastian Bach, actually. And I don't know why it would come from Sebastian Bach. And I'm not 100% sure that it came from Sebastian Bach, but that's how I remember it. So that's the way it is. Axl Rose is somehow going to be involved, allegedly, in AC/DC's North American tour.
Cool.
Now, I like Axl. I have to admit, I even like Axl when he toured with AC/DC a few years ago. But if AC/DC is going to tour North America next year, I'm going to go.
I've never seen AC/DC.
Neither have I. But if AC/DC is going to tour North America with Axl, I'm going to skip it because it's not AC/DC.
Wait, so he'll be doing, Brian Johnson won't be there?
Nobody knows. The quote just came out that Axl was possibly going to be involved. It didn't say whether For all we know, it could be. I mean, AC/DC doesn't need any help, but it could be a stadium tour with AC/DC and Guns N' Roses. That's possible.
Count me in.
It could be where Axl comes out and sings a song or two, which is great. Option 1 and option 2 are great. If Brian Johnson is going home and Axl is going to be the lead singer of AC/DC, nothing against AC/DC, nothing against Axl, but I don't really want to see the Axl Rose AC/DC. I'll skip it because it's not going to be cheap. Because rumor has it it's not going to be like 50 stops on a tour. It's going to be like 10 or 15.
Right.
And then, of course, if they do well, and I'm guessing that they're going to do well, but if they do well, then probably they might add some tour dates. But it's not meant to be, I mean, they're old.
Yeah, I'm saying they're not getting any. They got to be in their 70s too, right?
They're getting old. It goes along the lines of pretty much every other band that we grew up on. They're getting old. I've never seen them. I would love to see them.
Me too. They've done some great music. Great music.
I just don't want to see the Axl Rose version.
I don't know.
I wouldn't. I'm just not going to go out of my way to see it. Like, I want to see it with Brian Johnson singing.
The one thing that I don't know if you know this or not, and I could be corrected if anybody wants to correct me here, their AC/DC has pretty much always stayed pure. Like they don't use a lot of effects. They don't use like a lot of the sound that they get, guitaring and stuff like that is like pure and very little distortion.
You got any music you're listening to?
I do. I've been listening to a lot of different stuff lately, but there's this song. I have just started listening to the other songs of it. The band Ghost, and actually he wears makeup, so there's a Kiss influence in there. Actually, he looks like, if you follow wrestling ever, he looks like Sting. His makeup looks like the makeup that Sting wore. But the song is, I love the song. Or Call Me Little Sunshine. I've listened to some of the other songs. Nothing really grabbed me yet. The other songs are very much keyboard oriented. You hear the keyboards a lot in it. But Call Me Little Sunshine is pretty popular now. They're playing on a DHA a lot. And I really, really like the song a lot.
Music I'm listening to. The band is called Deadlands. And they do have a few songs. I don't think they have a complete record, but they have a few songs that is on Spotify. Yeah, I'm right. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They got 5 songs on Spotify. I don't know much about the band at all. What I do know is their lead singer is Casey Carlson. As far as I know, Nita Strauss found her a couple years ago. Needed a lead singer for her touring band, and took this. I think she's young. I think
She looks. Yeah, you can't see it. I just followed with the picture of her. She looks like she's like 16.
I think she's older than that, but she's probably early 20s. I saw Nita Strauss, I think it was last year. I talked about it in a past episode. And she was the lead singer of her touring band. And Nita's newest record, which is a couple years old, is a record that had a bunch of guest singers on it, and she did a incredible job singing all their material. I mean, she was really good. Like she's a screamer, which isn't my favorite thing, but she's a screamer that can sing and does sing. So she sings, then she screams, then she sings. And if you follow her Instagram,
So she's like Linkin Park's new singer. Very similar
yeah,
to that.
yeah. And if you follow her Instagram, I haven't seen anything lately, but she used to go in the studio and she would pick music and she would re-record the song with her singing the vocals on it. And I found who did I find? I have it on here. I found look, I think her version of the song is better, but this band Everest is what they're called.
Anita Strauss is from Alice Cooper. That's where she got her fame started, right?
Nita Strauss is the guitar player for Alice Cooper, and she's 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 a prodigy. And she's what's a word stronger than beautiful?
Smoke show.
Okay.
That's usually what I go to.
So the Everest song is called Early Grave. It's a good song, but it's a male lead singer of this song. AC Carlson, yeah, it's got to be on her Instagram page. Does a version of this that is better than the band's version, and she's capable of singing just about anything, which makes what she does on Instagram pretty cool. And I like I said, I'm not a big fan of scream singers, but Deadlands, I like Deadlands. It's aggressive, it's thrashy, it's fast. Um yeah, so Deadlands, Casey Carlson, check her out, check the band out. That's all I got.
Cool.
Hey, Kiss Army, we work hard on this podcast and try to give you the best content possible. If you like what we do, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. Also, the podcast is now on all the podcast platforms, so please like and follow us there and give us some 5-star reviews. It really helps us out.
And while you're there, let us know if there's any Kiss related subjects you would like us to cover in the future episodes and helps us build the hooligan community.
All right, so what do you say we whoop up our inner Starchild and we get into Paul Stanley's 1978 solo album?
Do it!
Outstanding. Beautiful job. So, like all the rest of them, it was released September 18th, 1978. It was recorded between February and July 1978. It was recorded at Electric Lady Studio and the Record Plant in New York City and the Village Recorder in Los Angeles. It was 35 minutes and 10 seconds long, released by Casablanca Records, produced by Paul Stanley and Jeff Gixman. Paul released one single, my opinion, the wrong one.
The wrong one, absolutely.
Hold Me, Touch Me, Think of Me When We're Apart. Oh boy. Oh boy. Anyhow, I'm getting to be broken record with these solo albums, but it's platinum because it was shipped platinum. So, at this point into our third Kiss solo album, take that for what it is. The personnel that played on the record, a lot less than Gene, but yeah, there's a lot. Bob Kulick, Paul plays lead and backing vocals, rhythm guitar, lead guitar, acoustic guitar. He plays an EBO. So he plays all guitars on track 7. He's the producer and he does mixing. Bob Kulick plays lead guitar and acoustic guitar. Steve Buslow plays bass on tracks 1 to 5. Eric Nelson plays bass on tracks 6 to 9. Richie Fontana plays drums on tracks 1 to 4. Carmine Apiece plays drums on track 5. Craig Cramp Drums on track 6 through 9. Diana Griselli, backing vocals on track 2. Miriam Naomi Valley, backing vocals on track 2. Maria Vidal, backing vocals on track 2. Pepe Castro, backing vocals on tracks 3 and 7. Doug Katsaurus.
You got it right. Katsaurus. Yep.
Doug Katsaurus plays piano, omni string ensemble, and backing vocals on track 7. And Steve Lacey plays electric guitar on track 8. Eraldo Caragatti, does the cover painting artwork, just as he did on Peter's and Gene's album. And that's pretty much it. It's the songs.
Alrighty. The first song that I'm going to cover is probably in my top 4 or top 5 of Paul Stanley songs. I absolutely love this song, always have. And I remember from when I first heard it back in the day when I was young, I played this song a lot. So Tonight You Belong to Me. It's one of my favorites again. There's a nice buildup with acoustic into a really cool riff, really good riff. Great vocals also. Like I said, it's a great Paul Stanley song. Should be the single.
There's a couple that I think should be the single, but I would agree with you. Tonight You Belong to Me is a very good song. It is it would have been probably a very good Kiss song. I really like his vocals on this. I like that high pitched Paul Stanley thing, but I like once in a while when he goes down to that medium sound, and that's pretty much what this song is. It's a nice change. It's a good Kiss song. It's a good rock song. It's a good Paul Stanley song. I think that we're into the 3rd solo record, and we have, at least in my opinion, we found the 3rd passable Kiss song. I Can't Stop the Rain could have been a Peter Criss ballad on a Kiss record. Radioactive, I think, could have been a passable Kiss song. And Tonight You Belong to Me could have been a very good Kiss song, in my humble
What about
opinion.
You Matter to Me? You think that would make almost like a Hard Luck Woman type thing?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Just curious on that.
I just imagine. I mean, no, I just imagine. Peter bringing You Matter to Me to the table, and Ace, Paul, and Gene looking at him like, "Hey, man, are you high?" Like, it's just not.
Okay. I just wanted to get your opinion on that. That's all.
It's not at the level of the worst song on The Elder as far as Kiss songs go.
I like the song, but it is very, very popsy. If you think about it, if you're staying on Kiss brand, then I can see it. But I wanted to get your take on that.
It's just not a Kiss song. It's not a rock song. I mean, I just don't know where it would. To me, there's no Kiss album that You Matter to Me could fit on, and I think Radioactive could have fit on almost every Kiss record, and Tonight You Belong to Me could fit on almost any Kiss record, and You Matter to Me does not fit, would not fit on Unmasked, would not fit on The Elder, it would not fit. Whenever they made crazy left turns, they never made a crazy left turn as far as Peter made a crazy left turn on his own.
I'm getting way out in the weeds here, but to me, if you told me I could take that song and put on any future Kiss album, I'd put that song on Lick It Up.
You Matter to Me?
To me, it fits on that album really well, or even Asylum.
No, I humbly, probably in my 50 years of existence, would never disagree with you more than I do right now.
Okay. That's okay.
When we're done filming for the day, you get on Spotify and put "Lick It Up" on, and then drop "You Matter to Me" in there.
No. I meant you tonight. You belong to me.
Oh, well,
Oh boy, I did take you out of left field. I meant tonight you belong to me, but could go on "Lick It Up" or "Asylum."
Oh, I think "Tonight You Belong to Me" could go on just about every KISS record. It would slide into almost any KISS record, which is saying a lot, considering it's the first song on his record.
Right.
And we went through what, 20, 21 songs, and we found 2 passable. And they're only passable. I mean, I Can't Stop the Rain is a passable KISS song as a ballad sung by Peter. And Radioactive is a little higher, a little more than passable. But that's in my opinion, that's all I got. And I know that we're gonna hit more KISS like songs on this record.
Right.
This is the 3rd step.
I know we're spending a lot of time on it, but I also think it's a song that I really think it's a song that should have got more play. And it definitely should have been the single, like the top single on this album.
And I think it's the best song on this album. So no, it's not the best song on this album. It's the 2nd best song on this album to me. But move on.
Oh, I'm looking forward to hearing that. Okay, here's your take on the other ones. All right, so do you want to move on to move on?
Let's move on to move on. Move on.
Yeah. So I got I like the solos on it. Heavy vocal throughout. The only thing on this song that I have issues with is it's got weird transitions. They're not smooth transitions. I feel like it could have been a better production value on that song.
Yeah, Move On isn't my favorite song. It's better than okay. It's entertaining, it's sort of enjoyable. Oh, it's better than anything on Peter's record. Just not my favorite song. I like the vocals though. I mean, I like what Paul did vocally by vocaling on this record as a whole.
That ain't quite right.
Mm,
What you just said there.
Yep, and that's the next song.
And that's the next song. Okay. So I love this song. It's very misty, kind of like I really like the vibe on this, and it's very much a blues song. He definitely was diving into the blues on this song, and I really liked the way he did on this.
Yeah, just I think if we're comparing, which we probably shouldn't, but if we're comparing leaving Gene unsupervised, you can leave Paul unsupervised more than you can leave Gene unsupervised.
Agreed.
So it's not one of my favorite songs, but it's better than passable. And maybe with a couple changes, again, it could be a good KISS song.
Well, another take I got about this one too is, the artistic individuality and stuff that we talked about. This is one that actually it was a nice surprise re-listening to and seeing him take a song into a different territory, and like he did it well.
Yes, he did it well. And I guess that's the difference. That's really the difference between Paul and Peter and Gene so far, is when Paul went off of the KISS cookie cutter and he forged new territory, he did it more successfully than Peter and Gene did, at least to me.
No, me too. So everything's been really well up until this song right here, number 4. Wouldn't you like to know me? Very pop commercial song. In my opinion, I think Paul had high hopes for this song, but I'm not a big fan of the song.
He went a little too far. I like the song. I like the vocals on the song. It's too, and Gene does make this quote in an interview. It's too lovey.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling it.
Too lovey. I'm not a big fan of "I Still Love You."
I like that song.
because it's too lovey, and this is the same thing. Like, I understand you're the star child, you're the sex symbol, and the more you know about Paul, you know that he's very emotional. The one thing I'll give Paul is almost every Paul Stanley sung song has his heart and soul in it.
100%. Absolutely.
I don't always like them, but I always feel like I'm getting 100% out of him, and this song's no different.
You know what?
The
I don't think he
emotion,
right. I don't
the
think he knows any other
emotion.
way. I don't think he knows any other way. And the next song, I have an interesting take on. Take Me Away Together as One. I like the acoustic intro. Really like nice blend of the guitar. Bridge is really cool. Good vocals, and in my opinion, could be a hit today with a couple adjustments. I really like this song. I think this song could definitely be a hit.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Good song.
Kind of a
Not a
lost,
great song.
but a
Good
lost
song.
song, right? Kind of a lost song. They could definitely make something out of that, even more. I think.
I think a lot of these solo album songs could be considered lost songs because, Paul and Gene went on with Kiss, and the material didn't carry on after Dynasty, as far as I know. So you have to go searching it out. It's not going to come up. They don't talk about it a lot. They don't promote it at all. It's like The Elder and Kiss meets the Phantom of the Park. They're not bringing that shit up unless you bring it up. And when you
Right.
do bring it up, it's usually a quick comment, and they want to move on.
Okay. So the next one is "It's All Right." Very Kiss sounding, good groove. Um, yeah, I like it. I like the song a lot.
Catchy as hell. I do
Yeah,
too. And it's a Kiss song. It could be a very it's another could be another Kiss song. Good song. It's a good song, period. It's a good Kiss song. It's a good rock song. Good
absolutely.
song.
All right. The next one. So Barry Manilow was on, did one of the songs for Peter Criss. To me, Barry Manilow did another one here because I'm not a fan of this song. If Barry Manilow made this tune, I'd really like it. But for Paul, I'm not feeling this song is Hold Me, Touch Me, Think of Me When We're Apart. I'm not a fan of the song.
Excuse me, I have to puke.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
You have a tendency to do this. You were doing so good. And then
As I've said in the past, there's at least one stinker on every record.
and that one's it.
That's it. Just too much.
Because you go from that, right? We don't really have to cover too much more on that. It's just not a good one. So then you go to number 8, right? Love and Chains. Great intro guitar and rhythm. Very rockin' tune. Sounds like a song I could see on Animalized, Asylum, or look it up. To me,
I,
this was a quartet of the future where they were going to go as a band in a lot of
I, lo-
ways.
I love the song. I think great song.
Yeah,
Period. I mean,
yeah.
I just think it's a great song. Paul, a couple of his songs really prove that he went into the studio with a plan where I'm not sure that Gene and Peter went into the studio with a plan. I mean, they might have thought they had a plan,
Mm,
but I don't know if I could call it a plan. Paul went in with a plan. Considering we're how many songs? We're 8 songs in, and there's one legitimately bad song in both of our opinions so far. He's not doing bad.
nah,
He's not doing bad at all. And a lot of them are Kiss like songs.
right. And then we got the last song, which is very appropriate. Goodbye. Um, I like the rhythm in the song, and I love Paul's vocals on this song a lot.
Well, it's better than When You Wish Upon a Star.
That's for sure.
It's better than Rock and Roll Party.
That's not hard to do.
Yeah, it's a good song. I'm cool with it. Look, at least to me, you can put Paul's solo record on, and you can listen to it completely, and not want to throw yourself out a second story window. So, Hold Me, Touch Me is what, 2.5, 3.5 minutes long. It's 3 minutes and 40 seconds long. I can hold on for that 3 minutes and 40 seconds, and it's not terrible. It's not terrible. It's just not
But it also stands out among the other good songs. It stands out as a bad song.
That's the worst song on the record.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But if you were to put it in competition against the rest of Peter's solo album and the rest of Gene's solo album, it's not the worst song.
I'll give you that.
I mean, they're both beating them multiple times. So to wrap this puppy up, in my opinion, Paul went in with a plan. He executed that plan mostly successfully. This is a Kiss-like record, the first one that we've come across that is a Kiss-like record. Paul was true to himself. Paul was more organized with his thoughts. He was more responsible to the fans, and stayed within the lines and created a Kiss-like solo record that I mean, I'm sure there are Kiss fans out there that don't like this record. I think that's unfortunate. I think it's a Kiss-like record. You could put Gene, Peter, and Ace on this record and label it as a Kiss record, and it would fall in line with other Kiss records. I can't say that about Gene or Peter.
And Paul is an extremely talented. I think that's like if people are given gifts, I think Paul has a gift as a songwriter, right? So if you had to put the members of Kiss songwriters in order, I mean, Paul's definitely number one. Out of the four members, no matter how good Ace is talented, and I think Paul is definitely the best songwriter out of all of them.
I'm gonna piss all the Kiss Army off right now. I think Paul's great. Songwriting's great. But I might put Vinny above Paul for songwriting.
I mean, that you said, I mean, that's what Vinny brought to the table, even probably more than his shredding, is his songwriting ability. I don't
Absolutely.
But yeah, and I'm not gonna knock it, but I mean,
you know what?
And Vinny doesn't have halfway near the catalog that Paul has written either.
Yeah, let me change that. So I think Paul and Vinny are up there together. It seems to me like everything that Vinny co-wrote, and he co-wrote, but I think everything that Vinny co-wrote, I don't think there's anything bad, at least Kiss-wise, that he co-wrote.
And to verify what you said even more, when you hear people in the band talk about Vinny,
yes,
they all say a lot of stuff, but they never knock his songwriting ability ever.
Right. Right. I think he was a good songwriter. I think Paul's a great songwriter too, but I think he's a really good songwriter. Paul was the backbone of Kiss, and Paul is Kiss.
Yeah.
And Kiss is Paul. I said this in the last episode, and I'll stand by this. I think Gene needed Paul more than Paul needed Gene.
Musically. Absolutely. I agree with that.
So I think it shouldn't be a shock to many people that Paul's solo album, at least this one, the 1978 one, is very much Kiss-like, is very much a hard rock record. He didn't veer off into any crazy territories. Even Hold Me, Touch Me is not Paul veering off. It is not When You Wish Upon a Star.
No, it's
It
not.
isn't.
No,
It
it's
isn't. So
definitely not.
it's a good hard rock Kiss-like album that I really don't think gets the credit that it should get. I
I'm
think
with you there. I agree 100%.
it in my opinion, it's number 2. And look, it's unfortunate for everybody that the next episode is just light years. It's just light years ahead of everyone.
Hey, listen, Ace's solo album, we're gonna get there, but Ace's solo album is like one of those once in a lifetime albums too.
And when we get there, I have a very, it's going to sound like I'm taking credit away from Ace, but I'm not. But when we get there, to me, I have a very good reason of why it's light years ahead of everybody else. With that being said, Paul's solo album is a very good album. It would be a very good Kiss album. And I think he accomplished the goal completely. He showed his talents. Not that I think he was trying to do this, but he showed that he didn't need the rest of the band. He was a star. And that's what he is. All right, you got anything else?
No, just I think we covered it pretty well. I mean, my sister, like I said, back to Angel again. I remember listening to this album, but I didn't remember listening to it as much as I did. And she remembered me playing that probably even more than the Aces album back in the day. And I was looking forward to diving into this album again because I didn't remember how much I liked the album. And I'm glad I did. And I actually have a couple of the songs that I put on my my favorite songs for Kiss, like on my Spotify playlist. So I'm really happy we dove back into that.
And I don't know whether you remember this or not, but I do. That was your favorite solo album when we were kids.
Yeah, I think you're right. It was my favorite of the solo albums. But I love Paul's voice and I love to sing. So it's probably has something to do with the fact that I get more into the singing. Ace is more of a guitar player than a singer. So I think that's probably where it comes from. But I love them both. I dig them both.
Ace, if you're listening, the opinions of some people on this show are not the opinions of the show. Okay? I think you're a perfectly good singer.
I don't think he's a bad singer.
I think you are a bright, shining star, just like Paul. Okay? I just wish you'd play Into the Night live. Thank you.
Bruce is better.
Oh, hell no.
I like Bruce better.
Hell no.
I love Ace's solos, but I like Bruce better. I told you he's my second favorite in Kiss. I told you that.
Please,
but I like Ace. That me saying I like Bruce doesn't mean I'm throwing hate to Ace.
I'm not accusing you of throwing hate. I'm just accusing you of being wrong. If you are listening to this podcast right now, if you are one of the millions and millions and millions of people out there that are listening and watch us, please drop a comment below and tell this guy right here.
The other way. There, go back the other way. You had it. Yeah, go back the other way.
This way.
There you go. Now you're pointing to me.
Well, that's funny because on my screen, I'm not pointing to you. Anyway, whatever it is.
Why am I helping you have comments against me?
I don't know.
Why am I helping you with this?
This guy, please drop a comment below telling him that he's wrong. We don't have to get into anything. I'm not saying Bruce is bad. I'm not saying Bruce sucks. I have been on record saying Bruce is the second best lead guitarist that has ever played in Kiss.
If Ace works really hard, someday he'll be as good as Bruce.
Wow. Wow. On that note, that's all we got, kids.
I left you speechless.
he ruined my entire day with that statement. So
It's
I
all
wanna
subjective.
Oh, it's definitely subjective. As always, thank y'all for dropping by and checking us out. If you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit the like button. Please give us some comments. Look, if you agree with us, I love the comments. If you disagree with us, I kind of like the comments a lot anyway.
Absolutely.
And that'll do it for us today. So I'm going to put up a playlist. I guess it's here. I'm going to put up a playlist. It'll go up right about here. It'll have Gene's solo album and Peter's solo album in it. So you can click on that and get a take on all three of them. And as soon as we do Aces, I'll drop that in there too. So you have one-stop shopping if you want to listen about all the solo albums. With that all being said, don't ever forget. In the words of Gene Simmons, on the back, here's some trivia for you. On the back of the tour shirt from the Animalized tour, if it's too loud, you are too old. Peace out.
Rock on, hooligans.